Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Joking Dolphin Gaming Podcast. I'm Mark, and as always, I'm joined by Mathew.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Cat Dad.
Cat Dad, indeed. How are we? Oh, well.
Yeah, raring to go for it. It's been interesting last couple of weeks. Played lots of games and done lots of stuff. So yeah.
That's pretty much the opposite of me. I've not really done that much, yes.
You've had a bit of time off, haven't you, Mark? So
well, before the last podcast.
Was it?
Oh,
yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. I've still not done much since then anyway, so went back to work, but let's not get into that.
Okay.
So, news. Give me the news, boys. Give me some interesting news.
Right, I'll give you some news. Super Mario is turning 35 years old.
Oh, happy birthday.
He's a very old plumber. Well, mid-range plumber. But anyway, so due to his 35th anniversary, Nintendo are releasing the Super Mario 3D All-Stars game. So this is going to include 3 games. So Super Mario 64 that came out for the N64, Super Mario Sunshine that came out for the GameCube, and Super Mario Galaxy that came out for the Nintendo Wii. Some people, including myself, would have liked to see Super Mario Galaxy 2 as well, because out of Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2, I prefer 2. I think they did a lot more with it, and it was a bit of a better game, but that's just me. With the game, you get 170 plus playable tracks, so the in-game music, so you've got that as well. So that's a nice little addition. And that's going to be released on the 18th of September 2020, so not long away. So that's good.
2 weeks?
Yeah, a couple of weeks away. So that's definitely going to be in my basket when that gets released. So that'll be cool because I like Mario. Also, what they're doing, they're going to release the Game & Watch. So for anybody that doesn't know what the Game & Watch is, it was the first handheld device that Nintendo did. So it was these little plastic things with a LED, with a screen on, and it was a clock, and it had little mini games on. So how can I compare it? So do you know the really primitive games that just use moving pixels? It's a bit like that, and they released loads of them. So they've brought that back. It's got a color scheme that matches the Famicom, so that's the Japanese equivalent of the NES for us. And I think it looks really nice. It's got like the Famicom red and gold color scheme. On that, you're going to get Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels, a game called Ball, and that's going to be the Mario version. And it's also going to be a digital clock. And there's a cat there for Matt.
Cats.
And that's going to be released on the 13th of November for $49.99. But I've seen it a bit cheaper in some other places, so I think that'll be a nice little keepsake for people to have. So yeah, what are other people's thoughts on the 35th anniversary of Mario? Would you want to have seen more, or do you think they've done quite well?
I think for what they showed off, I thought it was a pretty decent amount of stuff, because I think along with Super Mario 3D All Stars and the Game & Watch, they showed off that they're bringing Super Mario 3D World to the Switch as well, which I believe it came out on the Wii U originally.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to do like I suppose a deluxe edition of that one, along with some added content to it that I don't think the Wii U got. It's called Bowser's Fury.
Oh, cool.
So that should be interesting. I think that's coming out on the 12th of February next year. So not massively long to wait, but
yeah.
And
they've given us enough to tide us over for now.
Yeah, I think two of the stuff that actually piqued my interest outside of 3D All Stars was they've announced like a battle royale take on the original Super Mario Brothers, which was called So it's called Super Mario Brothers 35. It's in the similar vein of Tetris 99, where you play like a normal game of Super Mario Brothers with 34 other people.
Mm-hmm.
And how it works is that the enemies that you take out in your game can intersect into someone else's game. So they'll just appear in that game, and like vice versa. So like it's essentially just being able to outlast like 3 or 4 other people of like just enemies coming into your game and then like going into theirs. And there's like there's a little system that you can use to select
who you want the enemies to go to.
Sort of. So I think there was like one was just like random, so they'll just go to a random person's game. One with the highest coins, one with the lowest time. So I think that's like someone who's obviously time's running out sooner than everyone else, and there's probably a bit more pressure on them to try and get levels done and stuff. And I can't remember. There was another one that I couldn't quite remember. I don't know why you do it, but it looks quite fun. I mean, it's coming out. It's coming out. I think it's the 1st of October this year. Strangely enough, and this is something else that I spotted that they announced for Super Mario 3D All Stars, is that it will only be available until the 31st of March next year.
Right. Okay.
Which is a bit weird, and they've not really made an explanation as to why, or at least I've not seen online. Like,
I think they're trying to create some artificial scarcity and to make it like a keepsake to make people buy it because they know it's not going to be around forever.
Yeah, I wonder if they've got something potentially big planned around that time. Maybe it's something like, oh, you won't be able to get it on Switch, but maybe.
Or if there's another system.
Maybe, I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Like, I'm just throwing it out there. There wasn't any like definite reason as to why they've done this, especially for 3D All Stars, because that one's even more kind of strange why you would only make that available until then. But yeah, so that looked quite interesting. And then they showed off a real life AR racing car game that was called Mario
I've seen
Kart
this.
Live Home Circuit.
Yeah.
It looked very intriguing. Essentially, you've got like a Mario Kart in real life that's got sort of like an AR camera on it, and you've got placed checkpoints that you can place around your room, and then you can drive around through these checkpoints initially, making your own track in effect, and then once you've done that, you can actually you're essentially playing Mario Kart in real life. It's really, it looks cool, but I'm like, I don't think like I've got anywhere in my room that I could probably pull that off. But
Yeah.
I'd certainly love to play it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'd be interested to see what people do with it. Because you see people set like train tracks and stuff up, and it's really detailed. And I imagine some people might do the same, and they'll make their own tracks up and post them on social media. So it'll be interesting to see what people do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think I might buy that actually. It does sound really cool.
Well, I believe it's did it give a release date? 16th of October this year. So.
They're chucking stuff at us, aren't they?
Yeah, I can imagine that'll be like the most sought out toy for Christmas for everyone.
Yeah,
sure.
I've seen it. I think it's about £70 or £80, isn't it? Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think the new consoles might be better.
Well, for Nintendo, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to keep those Nintendo boys happy, haven't you?
That's it.
Boys and girls.
Including you, Mark. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Mr. Nintendo.
No, this guy.
I've got nothing against Nintendo. It's just that they've just never grabbed me anything that they release. It's all Mario, that kind of thing. It's just I never played that sort of stuff when I was younger, so it's just that's why I've just never managed to get into
the
it.
first party stuff just puts you off a little bit.
Yeah.
That was like my introduction into gaming, Nintendo. Like I absolutely got hooked from it.
Well, I never did, but you know, Nintendo does its thing well. It does what it does well.
Well, that's it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of other news. So, CD Projekt Red apparently has spent now over $121 million on development for Cyberpunk 2077.
Blooming heck.
That's quite
That's an amount.
Yeah, that's like Hollywood film type money. In fact, some are even less than that. So it better be good.
Oh no, I think it will be. I don't think it's the most expensive game that's been made though. I think if I recall,
I think Destiny were meant to be the first $1 billion game, like over its runtime in terms of what they were going to do to it.
Yeah, I don't know about billion. I think when the first one came out, it was known to have made.
Surely you can't spend $1 billion on a game.
I think it was.
You'd never recoup that back.
I think it was 200 million that Destiny initially cost. I don't know if it is gone to $1 billion. The whole idea of what they wanted to do, because that broke down immediately. Activision didn't really follow Bungie's idea of. They wanted to make Destiny like a 10-year plan, like just keep updating it.
That's it. I think that was the thing. It was going to be the $1 billion over like the 10-year plan to pump that kind of money into it.
Well, that was it. It was going to be a 10-year plan, and then I think Activision was like, actually, we'd rather you just make a sequel, which I think they ended up doing, and I think that's where like the divide started happening between Bungie and Activision, which caused Bungie to separate themselves from Activision, and somehow managed to get the IP for Destiny as well. So they essentially, now what Destiny 2 is, what they're building for it is essentially, I think, what they really wanted for Destiny. But it was an expensive game when it first came out. I know it was pretty expensive.
Yeah. When do you know when games cost a lot of money? I almost feel obliged to buy it. Do you know if it's a really cheap price? Because like, oh, they put so much money into this, and I can buy it for about £3. Like, oh, go on then, I'll give it a go.
It's really helping out the developers, though, aren't you?
Just because they put a lot of money into it doesn't mean it's good, though.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing. I mean,
it's like Destiny doesn't interest
me. I think Destiny was good. The gunplay was really solid because I mean it's made by the people who made Halo. They know how to make first-person shooters. I just think the idea of it being was it like the first game to really embrace like the games as a service? Because that's kind of like where it was.
It's probably one that popularized it. That's for sure.
I think it popularized it because I think what it really wanted to be is like it wanted to be an MMO, but also not be an MMO in effect. Like it had a lot of MMO designs of like, you know, you get loot, you go on raids or what the equivalent is of Destiny.
Yeah.
You know, you group up, you can do like dungeons and stuff, or I guess the Destiny's equivalent again. I'm not sure. And it also had that like social hub of where you could bump into people as well, which was very MMO-like, but it just weren't. Do you know what I mean? It weren't quite an MMO. I think it really wanted to be.
Yeah, it had all those factors incorporated into it, and
yeah,
that's what it wanted to get onto that style of game. Because well, once you can get somebody hooked on an MMO, that's it. It's done. I mean, you look at games like World of Warcraft, and yeah, it's just absolutely massive.
I think this is why I never get along with those sort of games. It's like they're expecting you to put your entire life into it. It's just like I've got too many other games to play.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, please refer to my backlog to the right.
Yeah, I've known quite a few people who are still like primarily just playing Destiny 2, and it's just like, how do you find the time to do that and like still play other games? I don't.
Yeah,
that blows my mind a bit.
Like, variety is the flavour of life, my friend. Just play something else. I can't talk. I play a lot of FIFA.
We all play a lot of FIFA. Not as much as you. But...
yeah,
every time I log on online, it says you don't want to play
FIFA. Career.
To be honest, recently I have mixed it up a bit, but we'll talk about that in a bit. I've got another piece of news. So a study was done, and it's shown that Xbox gamers are more toxic than PlayStation users. So this was posted by Hyperbeast. So they did a questionnaire and they surveyed 1,000 gamers to determine which console users were the most toxic when it comes to online gameplay. So in this, they surveyed PC, mobile, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch gamers. And it was determined the titles which had the most toxic gaming experience was Battlefield, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, FIFA, and I think this one's going to surprise everybody, Animal Crossing.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was broken down in terms of consoles, and Xbox scored the highest in physical aggression, verbal aggression, anger, and hostility. Physical aggression. We'll get to this. And on top of the Xbox findings, data also revealed that Animal Crossing players were some of the most aggressive, and Minecraft players are the most hostile.
Wow.
Which you think all these gun games and violent games, you think, oh, they'd be more hostile on that. But I think that totally blows out of the water that your games have got, that gunplay games make people aggressive. Judging on the findings of the questionnaire.
I know. I've heard about, like, especially if you go like to online Minecraft servers, I've heard of like people being absolutely just idiots, should we say, to new people trying to join the server. So yeah. I've heard on the Minecraft side of it. I've never heard of it on Animal Crossing. That's a new one.
Yeah, that totally blew me away when I saw Animal Crossing. I'm like, what?
They must be fighting over like trade prices or something. Like, no, yeah, I want these marabells, you bells.
Yeah. Right, here's a little quiz for you. So, out of the 1,000 people that were questionnared, there were a certain amount of controllers that were broken. So Xbox and PS4 controllers were damaged in anger over a 12-month period. How many controllers do you think out of the 1,000?
Out of 1,000? 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 people questionnared. How many controllers do you think were damaged?
That was his answer.
1,000.
I think it might shock you.
I'm going to go over something like 650, something like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 500. I think it's about even. I think it's even.
500.
Yeah.
Well, Mathew, you were closer, so it's 438.
Ooh.
So that's quite a lot of controllers. Like, if you surveyed 1,000 people and they damaged 438 controllers over a 12-month period, that's
Have either of you done this?
I've damaged controllers in the past. In the PlayStation 3 era, I went through a couple of controllers.
Was this FIFA related?
FIFA, yeah. I actually, this was it wasn't skillful. I actually chucked a controller. It bounced off my sofa, onto the ceiling, onto another wall, and then onto the floor. I know, I should have videoed it for TikTok, but TikTok weren't a thing back then. And it survived. It
survived?
Yeah, it survived to play another day.
Actually, it reminds me of a Wii Remote story, actually, as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But that wasn't in anger, was it? That was just
no, that wasn't in anger. That was just me being stupid, not putting the arm
still survived the
thing on. Yeah, the fireplace didn't.
I mean, they're robust. Got to give them that.
Yeah,
that's it. They must know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing over there. Nintendo.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So
just wrap it in bubble wrap. That's what we should do.
If I just inject in, because I didn't put my answer, I can put my hand on heart and say I've never broken a controller out of anger.
That's shocking, Mathew. To be quite honest.
I think you're more.
I break other things. Well,
that's true.
I have the sense to not break the thing that I need to play with.
You punch cupboards and drawers and things, don't you?
I used to. I think I got a lot better. I've got a lot better over the last.
I've probably inherited that more than you, actually.
Oh god, yeah, you've gone.
I used to be just like, I've never smashed a controller. It's like I've wanted to, but then I think actually this is too expensive. I'm not going to do that.
There's got to the point where I've like wound up to go throw it, and I'm like no, just put it back down.
That'll tell you.
Or I'll throw it at something I know it's soft and it won't break.
Yeah, you throw it in like a pillow or something.
Have it.
Yeah.
Just like full pelt.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, if anybody wants to see the full survey results, just go to the Hyperbeast website and you'll be able to see the study that was done. And there's a link to the survey on there. So, yeah, I thought that was quite interesting, to be honest.
Elsewhere, Fall Guys has become the #1 downloaded PS Plus game of all time.
Wow. I mean, I can see why. It's absolutely fantastic.
I've actually started to fall out of love with it a bit. I think I find it a bit stale now. Or maybe it's because I keep getting to the final and failing. Maybe that's it.
I think that's it. I think that's the real reason.
Because I always get to the end and then it's Hexagon. And I'm just like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's it. You grit your teeth.
It's like I managed to stay up on the top level for the top 2 for quite a bit. And then suddenly I'll end up plummeting like 3 floors.
Yeah, it's all over.
And then by that point, that's it. I might as well just give up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Don't worry, Mark. I'm rubbish as well. I've never won. I know Matt has, apparently.
Yeah.
Never seen it before. Mr. Photoshop.
Yeah, we never happened to see it.
Oh, shop. Excuse me. Let me get my screenshots of the 2 that I won last night. Thank you very much.
Oh, 2 last night. It was 2 other night.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
No, it's not my fault. I finally won the that jump showdown.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes.
That was just like 5 minutes of just about 2. Me and one other bloke just kept on jumping over the bars all the time, and he finally got caught on one. I was like, yes, finally.
Die!
Just go off.
Did you not grab it?
No, I was
grab it.
Whenever I grab it always goes against me if I try and grab someone. So I'm very. I say I'm a nice player. Sometimes I can get a bit grabby, but don't take that out of context. So yeah, and then I won Hexagon again as well. I won that one again.
Of course. Just
I got a bit lucky.
Mathew, just rub it in.
Yeah, that's it.
It's alright. It's fine.
Oh, that'd be hilarious if it came down to you 2 on Hexagon and Matt ended up winning.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I'd run over tomorrow just to try and sabotage you.
Give it a big one.
Yeah, come on, wait.
Throw you off.
I'll just grab him and then just like let him be on the bomb as you're falling.
Yeah. You wouldn't know.
But for what it's worth, Mark, if it ever came down to me and you and we got to Hexagon, I'd let you win, just so you could have it.
Oh no, I don't want to be gifted it. I want to fight for it. No, fight for it.
I'll
we'll
make
down together.
You fought for it.
I don't want a pig crown.
We'll just grab each other and then we'll both jump off at the same time.
Yeah.
We'll
do it like Fall Guys, Romeo and Juliet. We'll go together.
It's like the end of Thelma and Louise. Jumping off the cliff. Yeah, that's right.
Was I playing with you guys? It might have been on PC. There was when it had first came out. I'd gone to Fall Mountain and essentially me and this one guy grabbed the crown at the same time. And initially, when it comes up with whoever's on the podium, it came up with the other guy on the podium. So I was like, "You're joking? It's told me it's won because it comes up with like the crown symbol if you did win it."
Yeah.
And it showed him as the podium. But then when it got to like the results page, I got the crown. I was like, "Oh, we must have both got it." I was like, "I've never seen it before." But I was like, "Well, take it because I'm pretty sure I grabbed it."
I mean, I think in terms of Fall Guys falling off a bit for you. That was crap. It's only the first season, so they're going to build on it, aren't they? They're going to have more challenges, different games. So I think there's a lot more to come from it, and they'll just build.
I think my problem is that I keep end up putting on the same games for some reason. I don't know why. There's some games that I've not played for quite a while. It just keeps putting on the same ones.
Yeah, well,
I've not played DoorDash for ages. I missed that one.
Oh, I keep on getting DoorDash now. They did an update to try and better figure out. So when usually you get your first game, and that goes over, and then it'll try and determine, depending on how many players are left, whether there needs to be like a team game or if it's something else. Like since this update, I've seen Perfect Match a lot. Like it comes up a lot, and it hardly eliminates people really. So then, like you get into like the next one, and it's probably like Slime Climb or something. It's really rare that you see like team games now. Especially there's even when there's enough players for like a team game. Sometimes you just don't even pick it. I'm like, I think they should program it so that like after the first game, if there's enough people for a team game, it needs to be a team game, and then the next one shouldn't be a team game. Like, I think they've got a set so you don't get a team game after team game. Like sometimes you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they just need to tweak it.
Because the thing is, if they're doing like half, so you've got to have like an even split for a team game. Obviously, after one of those teams is gone, it's likely that that's going to be an even team, even set again, isn't it?
Yeah, quite possibly.
For another team game, yeah. Anyway, speaking of downloads, the Marvel Avengers beta globally became the most downloaded beta in PlayStation history. So a lot of people got that.
That one,
I've not got it, but yeah. What are the general thoughts on it?
From the beta.
Yeah.
Well, I made my thoughts. Well, I told you my thoughts on the last episode, but I wasn't all too convinced with it. But the game's out now, isn't it? So,
yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that it became the most downloaded beta of all time on PlayStation. So, a lot of people seem to be interested in it because I know there were a lot of people who were a bit wondering. Well, a lot of people didn't think it looked all that really. So I maybe people were just curious about it.
Yeah.
I think. Because that's why I did it, to be honest, because I was just curious about it. Because I wasn't sure if it would be up my alley or not. And I'm still questioning it. But yeah. Anyway. Any other news?
Well, I wanted to inject this in just after the Fall Guys thing. But, Mark beat me to it. There was Gamescom that happened over the last 2 weeks. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Not a lot that came out of it that interested me outside of for Fall Guys. We got to see a sneak peek of what's going to be in season 2, which is coming out in October. So it's got a very medieval theme to it. So a lot of costumes are going to be like knights, dragons, wizards, that kind of stuff. And then they showed off a couple of the games that they're going to be doing for season 2. I'm not sure if this whole season 2 of games will replace what's currently in season 1, or if they're just going to sort of interchange, sort of mix and match between both of them. But a couple of them, one looked like the game title's called Hoopsie Daisy, but it's going to be more physics based, and that like to get to some hoops, you've got to like move platforms around to get to like higher ledges to get to them, which looks quite interesting. It looks like overall the whole season 2 thing, it looks like they should offer a lot more that would require a lot of teamwork between players. So how that's going to go well, I'm not sure, because another
just
one
get 2 people at either side just pulling either way. That's what's going
to happen. That's what I feel. It's going to be a
tug of war. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's another game should have. Just have a tug of war.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Just have a gap
like
in the
people just button mashing to see who wins or something.
No, you just like grab the rope. And
there you go, 4 guys. You can have that one for free.
Yeah, that's it.
So another game that showed off. So another game that they showed off was a variation on sort of DoorDash, but instead of that, it's like castle walls that you've got to again drag platforms to other platforms to get over each wall section, which looked fun. And then another one looked like a variation on the game type that's called, is it Hit Parade, I think? So the one that you start off with like the forked path. So you got like 2 yellows and then 1 blue to get on top of the platform, or else you fall down into slime. You have to climb up, and then
I know
you have to get through like the balls and stuff.
The wall goes in and out in the middle.
Yeah,
balls
so there's a variation on that, but very medieval theme. So it looked like towards the end they had like roller balls with spikes on that you had to like navigate through. Sort of, I think, yeah. It looks all interesting, and it's coming out in October, so look forward to that when it comes out.
It'd be good to see some changes.
Yeah,
get me back into it.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of Gamescom, it was just more of updates than anything else, really. I mean, we saw more of Crash Bandicoot. It's about time. More about Ratchet and Clank, and a few other games. One game that surprisingly gripped me was the Black Ops Cold War game. Like, I'm not really into Black Ops personally, but it did actually look quite good. Because we got quite a fairly long trailer. So it's going to be a continuation of the original Black Ops game in terms of the story.
Yep.
And it's going to be launching on the 13th of November. So not too far away. It is going to have like next generation version as well.
Don't you have to pay extra for that? Though?
Yeah, you'll need to pay extra for that, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, I think it's
got to pay for that ray tracing, my friend.
I could be wrong. I think there's a standard edition, and I think there's like a £10 upgrade if you didn't buy the I suppose the next gen version instead. Yeah, fine. Well, I mean, it finally got revealed after all the leaks and spoilers for it on the retail packets.
just get this, because you just mentioned it was the 13th of November, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that means 13th of November, Call of Duty. 17th of November, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. 19th of November, Cyberpunk. That's going to be a very expensive week if you're going to get all them games. Blimey.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, that, and if
they're clearly
next gen as well.
Yeah, they're clearly launching then for the next gen, aren't they?
It's got to be. Well, off the back of that, PlayStation have set up a website where you can sign up and receive information on when the pre-orders are going to go live. So, well, hopefully it should be soon when we can start pre-ordering our purchases, because I'm eager. Don't know about everybody else, because there's just been so much build up to it, and so much of a standoff between Microsoft and Sony as to who's going to put the cards down first and say, right, it's this price.
I think it's got to happen very shortly now. I think.
Well, that's it. We're a couple of months away. Yeah,
we're in the end game now.
But someone's going to have to say something. But to be honest, I don't care. Just get it out. I think we'll probably speak on behalf of all gamers then. It's just like, we've seen all your games. We've all had ideas of which one we're going to get, or we're going to get both, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just give us the information. Let's save us. I mean, I'm sure anybody with any sense has been saving money now, but it'd still be nice to know how much of that money we're actually supposed to be able to spend.
Well, that's it, yeah.
We don't, because obviously, like, the console might be, I don't know, 600 quid, shall we say? I'll just throw that in the air, 600 quid. And then obviously you got the games. They'll probably be, 60 quid each, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah, you got to think 60 quid each.
Deluxe editions might even be more, if you get any. So, talking up to £1,000, just if you want to get a bunch of games with it. Then there's things like peripherals, if you want an extra controller.
If you want the camera, the charging dock.
It's not exactly cheap, all this stuff. It's just, they've got to give us some sort of idea. And obviously, like, with Christmas coming up, you've got to prepare for all this. Like, the money you're going to save for other people's Christmas presents. Or you're just going to blow all your cash on your PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah, sorry, everyone. There's going to be no Christmas.
Yeah.
And you're
Xbox, bye.
Yeah, that's it. You've got your Sony headset, Sony camera, PlayStation 5, your Xbox Series X.
Mental, but by the next podcast, I want an announcement.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Right. This is it. Microsoft, Sony, you've got 2 weeks. Come on. Yeah. Get it done. Here's one thing. How's your hard drive space? Because Black Ops is going to be 100 gig. And I'm guessing Cyberpunk's going to be a fair size. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So personally, I'm going to have to clear some space out for all these games that are coming up.
And then the day one patches on top of them.
Well, exactly. The 40 gig day one patch. Inevitably.
Oh, don't forget the continuous updates to Call of Duty. It ends up to being about 200 gigabytes. Bloody bit.
Yeah. I'm sorry, all of the games. You're going to have to go.
It's a crazy time, though. It's going to be, when they release, that's going to be an unbelievable time for gamers. It really is. particularly with those games coming out. Like 2 weeks before that Call of Duty is Watch Dogs Legion as well.
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
about a month before is FIFA. The week before that is Crash Bandicoot and Star Wars. The Squadrons, is it called? Yeah, Squadrons.
Oh yeah.
It's just mental.
There's too many games. It's
like the space for about 2 months now. I've got to try and get through all my backlog of all games ever. Just like,
that's not happening.
That's not going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. Did any award winners stand out to you in Gamescom?
Award winners?
I don't know what the award winners were. So.
You mind going through that? Because I think
so so there was quite a lot, but I'll point out some of the highlights.
Okay.
So best action adventure game, Watch Dogs Legion. So that's good.
Oh, that was shown at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. No. I could get that. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I do like the look of
that. This might be quite surprising to you both. The most wanted hardware / technology, Xbox Series X.
I think because like the power thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people.
Well, that's.
I think in Europe there's more of an even. I want to say there's an even split between Xbox and PlayStation. I think because like obviously in Japan it's all about Nintendo and Sony, and America is probably more leaned to Microsoft. So I think Europe's
that's it's an American company, isn't it? So they're going to want to invest in their own rather than Sony or Nintendo.
But I think as well, I think just the Game Pass is it's a big like trump card for Microsoft over Sony at this point.
Well, they've done it so well, and they've made it fairly affordable. And the games that they've got on there, they're like the AAA newest games. So it's games that you would go out and spend 50 quid on. So that's when it's worth it to you, and you're getting them day one as well. So I think that's something that Xbox has done really well. Best sports game. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Thank Christ.
Yeah.
If you were going to say FIFA, I would have punched them on it.
Best role-playing game, Cyberpunk 2077. So that's
no surprise there.
So that's good. Best PC game, also Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk won quite a few things actually.
I can imagine.
Best ongoing game, Borderlands 3. So I think we need to get on that one.
Ooh,
we need to get through the first two first.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to drag you both through.
Please. And then the best Nintendo Switch game, Little Nightmares 2. I did see the trailer for that. It did look quite interesting. So yeah, there's a whole lot more that you can go and check out, but they're the ones that stood out to me.
Cool.
Well, you mentioned best sports game there, and I see you didn't mention Madden 21. Because I know you love your NFL, you guys. Anyway, Madden 21 on the PS4 has received the lowest Metacritic score of all time on any platform in any genre.
Wow, even lower than WWE 2K20.
16,434 out of 16,434. Because apparently it adds nothing new and it's just a completely glitchy mess.
I heard this because it's got like screenshots from the game like a couple of years ago as well. So they've not even patched it properly.
What?
Yeah, so I'll be avoiding that one.
There's a game lower than WWE.
Well, at the time when I read this, this was the lowest. Whether that's changed now, I don't know. Well, as of about 2 or 3 days ago, this was the lowest.
What was the score itself?
I don't know. I didn't see that, but I just saw the ranking.
I don't want PC.
But yeah. But anyway, I'll be avoiding that one. I mean, I bought Madden 20, so at least I have to buy this one.
Well, that's so you don't need to upgrade, do you? You can keep your money in your pocket for the upcoming games that are coming up.
Another bit of news that got announced was The Witcher 3 is going to get a free upgrade for the next generation. I've still not played that, of course. So that actually gives me a reason to, not bother playing it yet until I get the next
Well,
console.
that's it. You can hold off and play something else in the meantime.
Yeah, because I've got the complete edition, and it's
Yeah.
upgrading all of it. So
I've played. Yeah, it is a really good game. I've not put much time into it. Played 15 hours or so, which is nothing for a game like The Witcher 3. But
it's gonna be a time sink, isn't it?
yeah, I really enjoy it though. The combat's really cool. The in-game like mini games that you can play, because it's like card games you can do as well. The hunting aspect of going to find the creatures that you need to kill. All the powers of being a witcher. It is really cool, and the RPG elements as well, because you can you try and get in with the ladies. So yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So
Now I know why you play that.
Yeah. Are you a Triss or a Yennefer person?
I'm Yennefer.
Ooh. I don't know.
Oh, he wants to play the field.
There is. Have you seen the cutscene of when he tries to play them both off?
No.
I don't think I have. No.
No.
Oh, well, right, I'm not going to say anything. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's Triss for me. I like a redhead.
Yeah.
I'll probably say Yennefer, but only because I've watched the Netflix series and she's like.
Yeah, and the books as well. It's supposed to be like, yeah.
Yeah, in the books. Yeah, I've actually been. I've read. I think I read a couple of the books now, because the TV series, or it's just a Netflix series, is based on the books and not the games.
Yeah.
But I think the series will also start moving into like the games territory, because the games are ahead of where the books are basically. So that'll be cool.
Well, any other news? I'm out of news.
I've got one more piece of news, which cleverly links itself to what we've just talked about. Netflix have announced they're going to be making a Resident Evil live-action series for sometime next year. Now it's gotten a bit of backlash already from fans, from what I can see. If only because they're setting the series sometime kind of in a future, so in effect kind of separating itself from the games. So it's going to be featuring what they're called as the Wesker kids. So Wesker is kind of the main antagonist throughout most of the series that you find, and it's also going to be set in what's called New Raccoon City, which if you don't know Resident Evil, the first 3 games are set within Raccoon City, and by the end of the 3rd game, something tragic happens. Not once.
Something tragic happens in a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, in a Resident Evil game. Yeah.
Never.
I don't want to.
Is it as if the zombie apocalypse is not enough?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to throw out spoilers for people who might not have played. I mean, it is a fairly old series now. But if you haven't, then something happens.
I should play the remasters.
Well, yeah. Highly recommend the Resident Evil 2 one. Third one's good, not as good, but I still enjoyed it. But yes, it's essentially just a new city that's built over, I suppose, the ruins of what Raccoon City was. But I think all the fans were really clamoring to see essentially like the game story being recreated live action, like what they really wanted out of the film series, and sort of but didn't quite get, because it's very loosely based on the game series.
So is the series, does it involve the actual characters we know, or is it like new people? Do we know?
So far they've only mentioned that these 2 kids, I think what they've said, because I think they released a synopsis, is that these 2 Wesker kids witnessed kind of what happened to the old Raccoon City, and then there's a jump forward into the future of them being in the new city, and them trying to get to grips with their family's history, in effect. Whether it will involve any characters from the games, they've not said. It could be possible. But I think a lot of fans were really disappointed that it wasn't just kind of a retelling of the game story in effect from kind of like the first game, because I think that's what everyone really wanted. Because even before the first film came out for Resident Evil, I think Giorgio Romero, who was famous for his Of the Dead series, did actually have a script based on the first game for that film, but it was never used. But I think the actual script is, you can find it somewhere online, of like how it was going to follow like the game fairly closely and stuff. So I think everyone just really wants that basically in live action, but for some reason they don't want to give us what we want.
I think a series set in that mansion in the first one, I think that could work quite well. I'd totally watch that.
I would like to see like a week or so before the whole incident happened, like how it slowly starts to.
You wait to that bit, yeah.
Yeah, so you get to know a little bit more about the STARS team, like the stuff that they did prior to zombie hunting. Got to know their backstory a bit, how they like worked as a team and stuff, and then slowly the I suppose the disasters kind of starts creeping into their lives, and they get to do the whole mention stuff, and then kind of go from there. I think that would be pretty cool, but
well, I guess we'll just have to see what it does likely.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give everything a chance. Like, I'd like to see the first trailer and see kind of what kind of vibe they want to go with. Like, if it's somewhat closer to how the films ended up, I don't think I'd be interested at all. Because the last film in the series goes.
It's surprised how long those films have gone on for.
Well, they made a lot of money. They made
exactly. That's why they kept going.
Well, they're the most successful game adaptation movie series.
Successful, does it equal best? No.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Right, so what have we been playing? Shall I kick off?
Yeah,
FIFA. Hey.
Yay. Well, to be honest, I can't say I've really played all that much. But what I did play was a game called Skater XL. Now, if you have a look on the Joking Dolphin YouTube channel, just search Joking Dolphin on YouTube, you'll find I put a little video out about how I failed spectacularly to pull off any tricks on it. Well, I managed to do like 3 grinds in total. Because the thing is, this is very much a simulation game of skateboarding, which is really quite intriguing and interesting. So you move each foot independently using the sticks, but it gets a bit confusing when you actually control your skater by using the shoulder buttons. So L to R2 is turning. So it takes a bit of use to because you always, every other game ever invented pretty much just uses a stick to move.
Yeah.
So it always gets really confusing. Like you just start moving it, it's just like, why is he not doing anything? And then you just run into a wall and all that. So if you check out the video, you'll find that I did a lot of falling over. But yeah, it's actually quite enjoyable in the end when I finally got to grips with it all. But
interesting.
It's one of those games where you just pick up, try it, and then you probably leave it for a bit and then come back to it and say, right, can I pull off that big trick? I have to say, when you do pull something off, it does feel rewarding.
Well, that's it, because there's that much to even start moving on the game.
Yeah, so it's
to master it.
So it's like other games, you might just press one button and you do a kickflip. Whereas this, you've actually got to physically move the sticks in a certain direction in order to make sure your character does that particular kickflip. So when you do something which sounds really basic and then you land it, it does feel quite rewarding, actually. I did like it. I did enjoy it, actually. But that might not be the last time we speak about this particular sport. So we might come on to that later.
Stay tuned, dear listeners and watchers.
Something else I've played, that I've carried on playing, is Assassin's Creed Origins. I've got to the crocodile now, who I think you mentioned previously.
That took about a month to take down.
I'd say there was one fight in it which I didn't like. The one where you got to shoot arrows at a big snake.
Right.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Did not like that one.
I thought it was quite interesting. It was a bit different.
I don't know. My arrows didn't seem to do much damage, or I was shooting at the wrong bit anyway. But yeah, I managed to do it. But apart from that, I really like the aesthetic of that game, though. Going around the
I just think it's one of Assassin's Creed's more like artistic games.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of
Egypt's really nice.
Yeah, in terms of its gameplay, it's pretty much the same as pretty much most Assassin's Creed games. The whole Abstergo, Animus stuff, don't care about. I just really don't care. So when it keeps going back to that woman in the cave, it's just like I'm just not interested. Put me back in Egypt, please, in the main game. But yeah, climbing to the top of the pyramids and then just sliding down.
Sliding down is fun.
Yeah, that's see that's the enjoyment I get out of games. Just doing simple pleasures.
Just doing simple things.
But it does look really nice. And I was using the photo mode on it quite a bit, just taking nice photographs of the pyramids and like one in the dark, the sunlight, the moonlight bouncing off the pyramid. Looked really nice.
Yeah, nice. I took quite a bit with the photo editor. It's quite a good one actually for most games.
Because I like the bits where you're in a town or city or whatever, and then you go over like a sand dune, and then suddenly you've just got the sprawling desert. I just think it looks really nice.
Do you know what you'll have to do, Mark? Is put it on the Instagram page and share it with us so we can see. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I'll share my pyramid pictures. Yeah, they are nice. But that's pretty much all I've really been playing, apart from something else we'll get onto. Anybody else?
Well, I can go, I suppose. So, I suppose outside of the usual duo of FIFA and Fall Guys nowadays, did a little bit of Red Dead Redemption with you guys. It was always fun killing horses.
I've completed the Outlaw Pass now.
Oh, nice one.
Oh, of course you are.
Yeah.
So there was that. Jumps back onto a bit of Digimon. A different one this time. I think it was called Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory. Anime always have the longest titles.
Yeah, they got to explain exactly what it is. Otherwise, you might not buy it.
Yeah. And outside of that, when I've been back on the PC, I've been doing more Satisfactory. That's been getting along. We've got conveyor belts for days everywhere. It's fun. We've also made so in the game you can make this they call hypertube connection. So I don't know if there's a movie or series that showed it, but you essentially you go into a tube and then you get kind of shot around the tube and you kind of go through it on a airflow. That was fun. We ended up making this massive hypertube cannon on top of a mountain to try and get from one of our furthest factory areas over to back to the hub. I tried it first and it shot me straight off the map and killed me. So I mean it works a bit too well, but we'll get that readjusted. Done some Rocket League as I normally do on PC. Season's over on that one, so we're kind of just waiting for the next season to start, which I think is pretty soon. I think that's when it'll go to free to play soon. Which should be interesting. Playing some new people should be fun.
Some noobs.
Some noobs. Yeah.
I'm still just as good as a noob, anyways.
I'm worse than the noobs.
Yeah.
I'm not too bad on PC. I can flirt between platinum and diamonds rank. But for some reason on PlayStation, I just can't do it with that controller. I've probably complained about it on podcast already, but PlayStation controller and Rocket League doesn't do well for me for some reason. Don't know why. And then I've played 2 new games very recently. One I'm sure we'll be discussing at some point later on, so I can't say much about that, other than I'm still not good at the game. I wasn't good. I wasn't good back then. I'm not good now. I don't know why, but I can't seem to get any better. And then lastly, I have dipped my toes and took a risk on getting Marvel's Avengers.
Ooh, you bit the bullet, did you? Oh,
I bit the bullet.
To be honest, I'm not really surprised because I know your love of comics and Marvel, so I kind of expected you to do it.
You kind of expected me. To be fair, I was very kind of adamant the week before it came out that I just wasn't interested. Like it didn't sound good. Like just everything that I heard from it just didn't sound very good.
So what changed your mind?
And then, so what changed my mind is a few articles and probably a couple of YouTubers that I watched who got kind of review copies of the game were coming out and saying that they were absolutely surprised at how good the campaign was, like the actual story for it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So like maybe it has got an interesting story. And I watched a video of like someone doing like I think their first part of like a playthrough through it. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like Crystal Dynamics has kind of nailed the aesthetic quite well. As much as people are saying like, oh, it looks like they're trying to like rip off like the MCU. They wanted to be MCU but couldn't quite. I think once you kind of take that out of it and just kind of accept it as like a new version of, someone's vision for what the Avengers look like. The actual story of it is really well done so far. I've been quite hooked by it.
So, in terms of the story, right, is it just like a continual thing, or does it keep going back to this war table thing and you have to keep beating missions? How does it work exactly?
How does it work? So I think, well, up until you get to helicarrier, it's a pretty continuous thing. So you initially start off playing as Kamala Khan, who is the Miss Marvel, and sort of her perspective of kind of what happened on A Day. Yeah. And then obviously you go through the Golden Gate stuff with the rest of the Avengers, which is actually quite good. I was surprised at actually how well that.
That was all right. Yeah, that was all right when I played it on the beta.
Yeah, and so then you get to a point where you. I don't know if try and throw story spoilers, but you get to a point where you meet your first Avenger as Kamala Khan, because it does like that 5 year into the future from A Day.
Yeah.
So you meet your first Avenger, and the whole point at that point is to get the first helicarrier, the Chimera, kind of up and running. And once you do that, most of the missions then are kind of accessed through the war table.
Right.
So you kind of got a choice of like, there'll be like, there's a helicarrier missions of the more kind of Avengers you unlock through the story, you get like their, I suppose, like training missions. So you learn more about how they work and stuff, and they give you like challenges to try and like test how well you know those Avengers. And then there's so throughout the campaign there'll be separate missions that are like the, I suppose, the multiplayer missions that you can do, but you're not forced to do them. You can pretty much just go through the campaign, but it's all kind of, most of it is accessed through kind of doing the war table. So you'll do certain things on the helicarrier, then you go to the war table, you've got to go to the next location to do whatever it is you need to do, like get some part or save some Inhumans. And then once you've kind of done that mission, you go back on your Quinjet, and then you can either go back to the helicarrier or somewhere else that's another kind of base. Or you can continue from the Quinjet to do multiplayer missions instead.
Right.
So the game is fixed around the co-op aspect of it. It's just you can ignore it if you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
In fact. But the story is really well told. Like the voice actors, I mean the people in it, it's going to be good.
Yeah, they've got not a bad cast. I think we mentioned this last.
No,
last
not a bad
time,
one.
yeah.
No, just
just all the usual fare.
All the usual people, Nolan North, Troy Baker,
Laura
Bailey. I'd be interested to know who plays a certain character in it, because his voice sounds familiar, but I can't place him. But
would it be a spoiler to mention the character? Because I'll look it up.
Yes.
Never mind. We will.
I can always tell you outside the podcast. But yeah, the actual campaign is solidly well done, and I like that the stories evolve around kind of Kamala Khan essentially getting the Avengers together, basically.
Right.
She's really well voiced, and she's got a really charming personality. Like, this game makes me want to kind of read up more about the character now, and like would love to see Miss Marvel in the MCU at some point.
Probably will happen. Probably will happen.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think if this game's received well, I think Marvel will look at that.
Yeah, this could be a catalyst, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be just like how Iron Man went from like a D-list superhero straight to A thanks to the film. Yeah. But no, the campaign's very solid. Combat is surprisingly challenging, and does have a little bit of fault to it that I think sometimes when you try and go and dodge an attack, it doesn't quite recognize the timing. So I don't know if you played the. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, if was it? No, carry on. I'll make the point after.
Okay, so the dodge mechanic is a bit similar to kind of the Batman games, that like I suppose the enemy signals when he's going to hit you with like a glowing colored circle. Yeah. But the way it treats it is that like when you see the circle is when you're meant to press the dodge button. It's actually, you've kind of got to wait a little bit more to when it gets to kind of the end of the wind up to actually dodge.
Right.
So it wasn't quite 100% clear whether it's as soon as you see the circle or as soon as the circle gets to its like highest size is when you're meant to perfect dodge.
Is it square that's dodge? I can't remember.
It's circle.
Oh, is it? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so squares, light attack, triangles, heavy.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I've got to a point where I've unlocked all the Avengers now, and using them all. I like that they're all, although the buttons are obviously all similar and stuff and kind of combos and that, they all feel distinctly different.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there any characters who you like more than others? Like when I played the beta, there were some characters that I much more enjoyed playing than others.
I think opposite to you, I really like Kamala Khan the most.
Ah, okay.
I think her combos set up some stuff quite nicely. I like her polymorph.
I had trouble with the swinging aspect of that. You know, when you jump and you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But maybe this was just a beta thing. I don't know. But it just wouldn't show that icon. It's like I knew I was supposed to be able to make that jump, but I just jumped and it just didn't show the prompt. So then I just fell to my death. I was like, well, I don't know.
She actually feels quite nice. She's probably the closest to, I suppose, Spider-Man without Spider-Man being in there.
Yet for some.
Yeah,
for some.
For some people, yeah. For two.
I was going to say, I presume you bought this PlayStation, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, of course I got a PlayStation.
Were you ever?
Spider-Man.
I was going to say, was that actually a major factor in it for you? Did you
getting it on PlayStation?
Yeah, were you ever consider getting on Xbox? Or would it only be PlayStation anyway, even if it hadn't changed?
Well, I suppose in my situation, it would have been PlayStation if only that I've not actually got my Xbox set back up.
Right. What have you been playing, Nathan?
Yeah, I'll move on to mine. So I've been playing a few games. So the first one that I've been playing is a game called Yokai Watch for the 3DS. Yeah, so it's a bit like Pokemon. I know you like Pokemon, Mark.
I've seen Detective Pikachu. I'm a big Pokemon fan now. You know.
That's it. Massive.
I know all about the Pokemons now.
Yeah. So it's basically a fun creature collection game. So you go around and you use this thing called the Yokai Watch. It's the face of the watch flips open, and you can use that as like a magnifying glass to see into the world of the yokais.
Okay.
And you basically use the touchscreen at the bottom to move your yokai watch around. So like you just use it like seeing through it. And if you find the yokai, because basically the yokais are in our world, but they're in a different dimension that you can only see when looking through the visor of the yokai watch. And it's basically you get to a point where that there's one nearby because your watch tells you, and then you use the watch as like the viewing glass to find the creature.
Okay.
And if you find it, it attacks you. And then at that point, you use your own yokais to battle against it. And then eventually either knock it out. Well, you probably would knock it out, or that yokai would knock you out. It's not happened to me yet. It's kind of random though, because once you've beaten the yokai, some of them come to you and say, "I want to be your friend. I want to join your team," and then you can decide whether you want them to or not. But it's totally random. You don't get any.
You get no choice in the matter.
No choice in the matter, yeah. Whether you want to put that yokai in your team, so they can either flee, or they can either come to you and say, "Oh, I want to join your team," and then you've got a decision to make at that point. But yeah, I'm fairly early into the game. At the minute, there's a yokai that's taken over my mum and dad, and it's making them argue. So I got to go out and find a certain amount of yokai to take this other yokai down. But the yokai are pretty cool. They attack automatically. You can have a group of 3 at once that you choose. So you've got a 3-man team or girl team. And they've got like super moves that you can charge up and use. So there's a bit of tactics to it. But yeah, so far it's okay. I'm enjoying going around the world and collecting the yokais when I can. And at the minute, I need to catch 2 more, and then I can try and help my mum and dad stop arguing. So yeah,
right.
That's where I'm at with that one at the minute. Another game I've been playing. For anybody watching us on YouTube, I'm going to hold it up now. I've been playing this, so it's called 1111 Memories Retold. So it's set in the times of World War One. So it starts in 1916, and you play as 2 people. So the first person you start playing as is Harry. He's a Canadian, and he's actually voiced by Elijah Wood.
Oh.
And he's a photographer, Canadian photographer, and in his segment, he decides to go to the front to take pictures of the war to try and enlist people to show like the greatness of the war and how well it's going. So he also goes to try and impress his girlfriend. Well, he's not his girlfriend, but somebody who he wants to
Somebody
impress.
Is creepy now.
Yeah. Well, you do take pictures of her earlier on in the game, but yeah. Anyway, it's not sadistic. She knows you're taking them.
Right.
And then so there's Harry, and then there's a second character, a German character called Kurt, voiced by Sebastian Koch. He's a German engineer, and he goes to the front in order to find his son Max, because their battalion was attacked, and his son's gone missing. So basically, you flip between playing as Harry, the Canadian, taking pictures of the war, doing certain bits, and Kurt, the engineer, and they both go to the front for their respective sides for different reasons. One interesting thing about this game is the art style. So it's all in like an oil painting style, which is quite interesting. I'll upload a picture to Instagram and Facebook a bit later just to show you. But that was really gripping. And one thing that really stood out to me is the story aspect, because it's you walk around and collect things, and you've got to solve puzzles as both characters, and it showed me that not everything's as black and white as it seems, because you think, oh, Germany were the bad guys and the Allies were the good guys. That's not necessarily right, because people do things for their own reasons. So Kurt went to war to find his son, and that inherently is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And he just got dragged into whatever was going on the German side. Anyway, eventually you get to a certain part of the game where Kurt and Harry find each other, and they get trapped. And one nice thing that I liked about the game is because Harry's a Canadian and he speaks English, and Kurt's German, and from Germany, and he speaks German, so they couldn't understand each other. So they had to make like little ways to try and communicate, which was nice. And they formed this bond, and they help each other. So certain things you've got to do as Harry certain things you've got to do as Kurt in the puzzle aspect of the game. And it's quite an emotional roller coaster, actually, as you try and you play as Harry and you've got his bit. I primarily played as Kurt because as you go through the game, you get an option whether you want to do Harry's section or Kurt's section. And I find myself drawn to Kurt's section a bit more because I just wanted to help him find his son, really. And yeah, if you get it, I mean, I spent £4 on it, and it was an emotional roller coaster, and there were some really lovely moments. It was gut wrenching near the end. But
is it played from a first person perspective? What's the actual?
So yes, that's right. Yeah, it's first person perspective. No. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say I'd say buy it. I mean, it's probably the best £4 I've ever spent on a game. I can say that. It takes 5 hours.
On what platform was that?
It's Xbox One, but you can also get it on PlayStation. I played on Xbox, but it were amazing. I finished it yesterday, and I just sat there and just sit and take it in. It was just.
How long was it?
4 to 5 hours.
It's not too long then.
About 4.5. So it's not very long now. You can do it in a couple of sittings if you wanted to. But yeah, and the music actually is really nice. One good parallel between Harry and Kurt is through the game. You hear on Kurt's side they were singing "Auld Lang Syne" in German, and then you hear the English people sing it as well. So you think they're not so different from each other, which was quite a nice bit. And the music itself is just perfect. It's orchestral, and it really works with the emotion of what's going on in the game. So yeah, I've played it over a couple of play sessions, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's 11/11 Memories Retold. Another game I've been playing is Spider-Man. So I started playing that at last. I mean, it's fantastic. The graphics are amazing. I mean, swinging through the city of Spider-Man just feels fantastic. I don't know about you, but one of the bits that I really like is when you get close to the ground and you just pull off the swing and then you just like flip up and then start swinging again. It just feels so good. The combat can get a bit repetitive for me. It is fun though, throwing things at people. I always enjoy that. I did enjoy the Stan Lee cameo when he comes in and says, "You two will always be my favourites." I'm like, "Oh, you're my favourite, Stan." Yeah, I'm not sure if he died at this point.
Yes,
2018.
I feel like he did. I think
he had, because I think there was like a memorial thing in it saying.
He passed away just before it, so the cameo was just hits harder, especially at that point. I was like, oh god, this is like his last thing he did before. Go.
Yeah.
But what I think to finish on.
Oh yeah, no, perfect game to have it.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the moments where Miles is in it as well. Just the relationship between Miles and Peter, and Peter like being the mentor to Miles and helping him get through the death of his dad. Sorry, spoilers. But that's over now. I think I'm close to the end at the minute. I've just beat the main guy, that Lee guy with that dragon's breath. Sorry, what's he called? Demon breath, is it? Devil's breath. That's it. Yeah, devil's breath.
Something like that.
Yeah,
something.
I've just done that, and then Mary Jane's been a little bit cold to me, so I'll get back on that later and see if we can reconcile the relationship. I don't know if I finished it, but I think I'm getting close to the end now.
Have you got to that point where they started like texting each other and like Peter sent something back that he didn't want to? I actually love that bit because it's like it's just two teenage. Well, I mean, he's not a teenager at this point; he's like a young man. But like, it reminds me of like just two teenagers just like awkwardly, just like interacting with each
other. Because he's like, it's over. He's like, oh no, not being you.
Yeah. He's got that inner monologue, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's done things wrong. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so yeah, really enjoying that more than I thought I would actually. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. About the usual. So yeah.
Cool.
Well, I got a question.
We do.
Yeah,
So I think the question for this week is, what's your favourite gaming memorabilia that you own?
Or collectible.
Or collectible. Yeah, whatever. Tomato, potato. Yeah, so do you want to kick us off, Matt?
Oh god. Probably under a lot of pressure now. Right.
I'm sure you got one or two things.
Just a few things really. What could be my favourite? Right, I think what I'll do, because I do have quite a few things. I think what I'll do, I'm going to pick one that I think probably means more to me than kind of the rest, and then I'll kind of show off some of the other things that I do have. Not everything, because that'd be a bit tricky with how my room's set up at the moment. But I'll try and at least show off one thing. So probably the most favorite thing that I got though that I own was the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy
Yes.
that you got when you.
I should have known this actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have known.
It was a big thing at the time because like I remember.
So
when
was
it
this?
first.
So was this thing where you could put your phone in it? Is that right?
It is, yeah. So you could put your phone in, and then you downloaded an app that actually linked to the game. So like within the game, you've got this what they call like the Pip-Boy, which is essentially your, I suppose, inventory device throughout the entire game. You can see your game stats, your equipment, map, inbuilt radio as well. Always fun to have the radio. And then they did like a real life version of it if you pre-ordered. There was only so many that they were going to do, and I managed to get it pre-ordered before the site crashed. I remember the site and at some point crashed and managed to get my order. So if for those that are listening, not watching, I'm going to be showing the Pip-Boy. I think we can potentially show a picture.
You can try and describe it.
I'll try and describe it best. So I'm just going to grab it from my side.
Here's one I made earlier. Made a cardboard from after you saw it on Blue Peter.
So I don't know if you can see it on camera.
Oh, that's a shiny box.
That case is bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's fairly dusty, and the case is a bit loose. So I'll just undo it.
Live unboxing, ladies and gents.
Live unboxing, yeah.
This is what you come here for.
Live dusting as well. So I got this on Xbox One. Blow off the dust. And then, if I
need
can
to know how to
remember,
get into it now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now.
Well, it's a nice box.
Definitely, yeah. Drop it from top of the stairs and see if it survives.
I think it is open. It is open.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
He's in there, boys and girls.
I'll reveal. So if I don't know how this is looking on camera, by the way, but
it looks fine.
We can see it. Oh,
so
plastic.
I don't know if you see that. There's a lot of plastic.
Some plastic.
There
we go.
Take some of the plastic off.
I like how you kept the plastic actually.
Yeah.
It's just to keep it. So that's if I can get it out. Unfortunately, I actually broke one of the buttons on this as well.
I'd say it doesn't like one of those old camcorders.
It does actually, yeah, with the lens on the side.
So that's pretty much how it looks. So I think if I can open it up, it's got a latch there. So you effectively put your arm in. I've got it the wrong way. And then I think there was a way, if I recall. I think this part opens up, and then there's a compartment in there to put your phone in.
Yeah.
So
you can use it as a touch screen.
Yeah. Yeah, so use it as a touch screen, but you can also, it works within the game.
Yeah.
So if I can slip my arm in somehow.
Apparently, because I do know other games which have got these apps that. Because I know there was one for Red Dead 2.
Yeah, there isn't.
You could have like an interactive map and things like that on it. So it's nice to have like an item which feels like you're in that world.
Something, yeah.
So you pull it up on screen and then you pull it up like that. So, yeah. It should have had a motion control in it, shouldn't it? So if you pull it up like that, it should come up on screen.
It recognises, yeah. Oh, that'd be really cool.
I've probably got like 2 big arms for this, but like I managed to get it in. So yeah, and then use it like part of the game. So
is it cushioned on the inside?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to say if it was just no plastic, let's say that.
Only odd people use
the
real Pip-Boy.
Says this, I don't know how to open it.
What's it weigh like?
So it's not too bad. It's not too heavy. I've got like massive arms now. So I used to have like skinny arms when I got this. So I'll see if I can show you inside. So that's what it looks like. So that's cushioned.
Right.
You can adjust that so you put your hand in and then just slap it in.
Have you ever struggled to get it off before?
I have. Well, I just struggled there. So.
Yeah.
That's it. So. Yeah.
So how much was that then?
Ooh. Let's have a think. I think it was about 120. It was it was a hefty one. But when you're a massive fanboy of Fallout.
Yeah, I don't, it's one of those things which I kind of expected. I know you love for Fallout.
Yep. So see if we can pop it.
Have you brought anything else to show us, Matthew?
Have we brought anything else?
All the things.
All the things. So I'll show a couple more. I won't open them because it'll take ages. So probably one of the first big things that I got was, let's show the proper one. Proper way, should I say. Unveiling. So it was this.
Ooh.
So Batman Arkham Knight Special Edition. So unfortunately, I don't know where the statue's gone that I've got of it.
Oh no!
It will most likely be in a box that I've packed since we redid this whole house. But yeah, this was probably my first big like special edition that I bought. So yeah, so this was wicked. So
it's a lovely box.
It's a lovely box. It's a bit tall.
Is there no picture of the statue on it?
No, there isn't, unfortunately.
Oh well.
No, it's just saying
the mystery lies. In reality, the Batman statue just be used as gnome in the garden. Just getting rained on.
Probably, yeah. I hope you can hear me fine as well. I don't know what this is like, so I'll show a couple more.
No, it's fine, mate. It's fine.
So I got ta-da, Spider-Man.
Oh, the game I've been playing.
So what is that?
Yes. So this is collector's edition. So this comes with another statue, not as big as the Batman one. So I think it was an art book and a couple of art statues. If I can. No, that's going to take a while to open, so I'd rather not. But I'll see if I can find an image of the statue.
Stick them on the gram.
Yeah, I'll put it on the gram.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
We could do a poll on Facebook to see which one people like best out of.
Which one likes out best? Yeah. One last one. This is a massive one as well.
It's like pulling rabbits out, right, isn't it? It's got all the things.
So I got the Sonic Mania one as well.
Oh, that's great.
Which,
is that the one where it's got the little Mega Drive in there that makes the noise?
I think so. So it shows you on the side what actually comes with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see that on video, but there is a Sonic with a Mega Drive statue. I think there was there's a Sonic cartridge with a Sonic ring in there. The art book. And then I think there was just a digital version of the game that came with it, not a physical one, which is a bit unfortunate. But that's all the dust that's on all my memorabilia.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so that's all mine.
Cool.
Well, mine's a little bit. I feel like I'm cheating everyone now because Matt's done such a great job. So I'm gonna I'm going to tell the story that comes behind this. It's actually, rather than a limited edition, it's a console.
He's gone like opposite ways again. He's taking the
outside the box.
Yeah, he's taking the question and gone outside the box again.
Oh.
It's basically it's something that doesn't work anymore, but I've still kept it because of what it means to me, and it's because of what it represents. So basically, if you don't know the Nathan origin story, when I was growing up with my family, we were Jehovah's Witnesses, so we never had Christmas or birthdays or anything. And eventually, my mum and dad, they got divorced when I was 10. Get the violins out, everyone. And when I lived with just my mum, primarily, we actually had a Christmas. And for my first Christmas, it was great because I've never had like so many presents at once before. Because we used to get presents, like we never went without. We got stuff throughout the year, but just not anything on Christmas or birthdays.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. And so I were opening all my presents on the first Christmas that I had. So I got like a Beyblade. I got Tyson's new Dragoon Beyblade. That was awesome. I got some other like random bits and bobs like chocolate, and I got this magic set. And
good old magic sets.
And like a couple of months before, my mum was like, "Is there anything in particular you want?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want a Game Boy Advance SP." And she's like, "Oh, right, okay, that's £100." And basically, she gave me my presents in like price order, and she gave me the magic set as the last one. And she's like, "Yeah, that were £100." And I was like,
absolutely, £100 for a magic set.
No, honestly, I was devastated. I've never told her this to this day.
So it was from. Oh, so you were giving from lowest price up to the highest.
Yeah, and she's like, "Right, this is your last present now." And she gives me this magic set, and I was like, "This is not £100." Thinking in my head, like, "Oh my god,
you're trying to rip off.
I've not got what I wanted." And then after I played with magic set for a bit, she's like, "Oh, I did get this last thing for you," and then she gives me. That's it.
No
she
switcheroo.
Yeah.
She pulled the magic trick on you.
That's it. She pulled the Game Boy Advance SP out of a hat. But yeah, she gave me a something else to open. I opened it. I'm just over the moon because it just meant a lot to me. Because I wanted it for so long, and finally, because it was backlit, I didn't have to use any of those like crappy light things that you slapped onto your Game Boy Advance. I don't know if any of you guys ever had it, but like playing in the dark was just insanely difficult, especially in the car.
I didn't have it for Advance, but I had it for Game Boy Color. One where it's like you've got light and then you've got like a magnifying thing that didn't magnify at all. So it's oh god, they were terrible.
Yeah, they were crap. But anyway, yeah, got this. It does not switch on, but I've got another one, so I can play Game Boy Advance games on it if I want to. And obviously the DS is backwards compatible, so I've got stuff I can play advanced games on. But yeah, it's just something that I've always kept because it just reminds me of how happy I was at that time, because I just felt so like dejected, like, oh, I've just got this magic set. And then she just comes out with this box. I'm like, oh my goodness! And then in the same now, like, here you go, Rebecca, my sister. I chucked the Game Boy Advance. You can have that now. She got.
No, you can have it.
She always got my hand-me-down. So when I got a Game Boy Advance, she got a Game Boy Color, and it just kept going like that. So I do feel a bit sorry for her, but she liked different things to me, so she got the equivalent in what she enjoyed. So if I didn't need something anymore, I'd give it her. So yeah. But yeah, that's my favourite one. My Game Boy Advance SP. It's my favourite item that I've got, and I always look back on it and fondly. So yeah.
Oh, very
nice one.
Well, I'll hold off on mine for just a short little while. So shall we move on to the Video Game Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Why not?
Okay. So Video Game Hall of Fame, this is where we take a look at an in-depth look at a game of high quality or historical importance and induct it into our pantheon of games we feel deserve special recognition. This episode, however, we are breaking the rules.
Breaking the law.
But we make the rules, so it's happening. We've not got one, but actually two entrants this episode because they both deserve it. So our inductees this episode were released in 1999 and 2000 respectively for the PlayStation, N64, Game Boy and Dreamcast. Published by Activision and developed by Neversoft, and has just been remastered by Vicarious Visions. It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. What an amazing couple of games. These are like the games of my childhood.
So
I'm
fun.
still not good at.
So, as I just said, the remaster's just come out, which I've been playing, of course. And just to follow on for what we've just been discussing in terms of our collectibles and memorabilia, etc., I went and bought the collector's edition, of course, because I just love Tony Hawk so much, and those two games meant so much to me when I was younger. So I don't buy many collector's editions or anything like that because they're expensive, and there's only certain games I'm interested in getting things for. So, but I had to get this one. So I went and bought the collector's edition, which includes this. I don't know if you can see that. No, because it's shining. Because I've kept the plastic on.
Oh no!
Who would do such a thing? Surely you would have read it by now.
It's a deck, skateboarding deck, and it's got the big Hawk logo on it. I don't know if you can see. I think it's a bit difficult to try and line it up with it, so you can see.
I can see, yeah. If you do it like that.
So it's like a skeleton hawk kind of thing with the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 logo on it. And it's got his insignia at the top. And I love it. I can't wait to mount this on the wall. It's got no grip on it, so there's no grip tape. But it does say Birdhouse there. But it's nice and wooden on the front.
Put some wheels on it.
Well, I could do. You know, it looks like it could be used because it has got the holes to fit the trucks on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm crap at skateboarding, so I won't be doing that. But yeah, I can't wait to put that on the wall. It's about the game. It's just what an incredible game. Well, it's a couple of games. When I first put on that first game, just the adrenaline and excitement of it, I just loved it. Every aspect of it, it's just incredible. It was just some of the most fun I've ever had playing a video game in my life. I think I mentioned this previously. That is probably, it's either my favorite. Those two are like my favorite PS1 games, or definitely up there. Because I used to always play it with my brother, and we just like playing, like games like Horse and Graffiti and Trick Attack, and those games. It's like we just always. So excited I've knocked the bat. But it's just,
animal abuse.
Oh, bat.
But it's just I can't. That game. I mean, very few games manage to make real world change.
I mean, that made like X Games and skateboarding cool. It created its own movement.
Yeah,
really.
It really did. It's completely changed everything in regards to that sport, because skateboarding throughout its history has gone through like peaks and troughs in terms of its popularity and things.
Yeah,
and it was like so like in the mid-90s it started to pick up again, and then Tony Hawk sort of became like the face of the thing because he pulled off the 900. Now I don't know if you know the story behind the 900, but the 900 is like obviously this trick where he spins 900 degrees, and it was like this big elusive trick that he's been trying to pull off for like nearly a decade, and he managed to pull it off 3 months before this first game was launched.
That's the perfect bit of marketing. Yeah.
So it's like suddenly his popularity just skyrocketed immediately, and then that obviously with his name behind the game, because a lot of people I think thought that he did the 900 and then he got the game off the back of that.
Off the back of that, yeah.
And it didn't. The game was in production for like 2 years before that. So, but it was just like the perfect melting pot at timing. And it's just, I was watching I've watched quite a few documentaries about him talking about the game, and I watched a documentary film that just got released a few weeks ago called "Pretending I'm a Superman." That's like the story of the game, and he was explaining that basically his idea around the game was just to try and get skaters to buy PlayStations. That was his mindset in it. That's what he said. He never in a million years thought it was going to be the opposite. That he was going to turn games into skaters, and it was mind blowing how many it affected. And like it changed the careers of all the skaters who were in the game as well.
Oh, I can imagine so. Yeah.
I mean, they became household names. It's like if you didn't know anything about skateboarding, right? you know the name Tony Hawk. It's just it became so
Yeah.
synonymous with each other. It's like if you went to somebody and just say, "Oh, name me a skateboarder," first thing that would come out of anybody's mouth, most people would just be Tony Hawk, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It became so identifiable. And I was looking at this. It's just the scores the games have got. I mean, I know we're focusing on 1 and 2 here, but it's like so in the top 20 on Metacritic, Tony Hawk's appears 3 times.
Wow.
It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the PlayStation is the second highest rating game on Metacritic ever at 98.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It still sits there now. And then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the Dreamcast sits at 12 at 97. And then finally there's
Surely that's cheating.
well,
it's on another platform, so you got to vote differently, haven't you?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on PlayStation 2 that achieved 97, but that sits at 14th. But it just shows how incredibly well made they were made.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, they were
incredibly well made. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just it really was a revolution. And it wasn't just in terms of skateboarding as well. It was like, I mean, I'm sure
extreme sports.
Yeah, but things like the music.
Oh, the music was incredible.
It's like everyone recognizes the music, don't they? Like
that's it.
You know, Superman by Goldfinger. You know, Jerry Was a Race Car Driver by Primus, and all this kind of thing. It's just, and I was listening to the on this documentary that we're watching. It was like interviewing these like band members, and it's just like how much it changed their careers. That their song featured in these games. Mm-hmm. It's like they chatted to fans who said like I'd never heard of your band before I played this game.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they end up finding them through these games. Yeah. It was a change on so many levels. It's just wild what this did. I mean, the game sort of dipped off towards the end, didn't they? I mean, as the later got on.
Well, I think anything post the Underground games are really a little bit shaky.
Because they were, for quite a while, they were an annual thing. Because I think Tony Hawk ended up signing a deal until like 2015.
I thought you were going to say 2050 there.
2015.
Yeah.
That's when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was released, where the less said about that, the better. I think that was what actually I think that's one of the biggest gaming disappointments of my life, actually. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. I think I could have mentioned that on the previous podcast.
Sure.
Do you know how much of a potential disappointment that might have been? Is that I didn't even realize there was a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 until you just mentioned it.
You know, it's.
I didn't realize. I thought it got to 4, and then it was just Underground. That was it.
Wasn't that the one that came out for PS3 and 360? Is that right?
Which?
Oh no, I think it came out for PS4, weren't it?
Yeah, it did. It came out PS4. It came out in 2015, so it was like his last one before his license expired. And it was such a catastrophic mess. I was so good because when that was announced, I was so excited by it because I just love Tony Hawk's, and they said all the right things, like it was going to be back to the roots and what made the games great, and it was just a real shoddy mess. It had an odd graphical. It's like it looks a bit cartoony in terms of its graphics, and I don't understand what they were doing. Apparently, that was done because it was having like frame rate issues.
Oh right. You'd think it wouldn't, though. I mean, you've got to think between Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, which came out on the PS1 actually, and 5 that came out on the PS4. You'd think they'd be able to make that jump and do whatever they wanted to do with it. I mean, I know they had all the games in between. Like, didn't they have like American Wasteland, Underground, and a load of other ones?
Underground were quite good. I liked Underground.
Underground was pretty decent. Yeah.
I enjoyed the PSP version that they did. I thought that was pretty good. That was quite fun. I remember playing that a lot.
I take it you never played Ride or Shred?
No, not played.
I didn't have the controller.
I think they're the only ones that I didn't play. Otherwise, I was such a Tony Hawk's fan that I bought all of them. But when it came to, they were a bit expensive because you had to get the peripheral. Yeah, so it was actual board, which apparently didn't work very well. Well, particularly on Ride, anyway.
It was great seeing all the videos of people falling off it, though. That was fun.
Yeah. It's always good for a laugh, isn't it?
Yeah.
But going back to the first 2 games, I mean, the first one, like as we said, revolutionized the sport, but the second one just took everything that was so great about that first game.
Yeah.
And just dialed it up to 11, didn't it? It's like it was better level design, increasing the music. It was such a wonderful.
I think the cheats on it were great as well.
Yeah.
Like going into that, so like moon physics, big heads. One good thing about it is if you did complete the game at 100% with a created skater, you unlock Spider-Man. That was awesome. Yeah. Just doing webs to do.
What was the other characters? So there was was it Private Carrera? I think that was it. I know Officer Dick. Do you know Officer? Yeah. Do you know Officer Dick is in the new one? Do you know who plays them?
Yeah, I do.
No, Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black does the voice and the
Officer.
and the likeness of Officer Dick. So I can't wait to unlock that. That'll be
Wasn't there which one could you unlock Wolverine on?
I don't think that was the first two. I can't remember which one.
I recall like Wolverine being in it, and
do you know when they were first pitching the first Tony Hawk game? Do you guys know which actor was on the board? Like, it was the dummy.
Yes, because this was because this was Neversoft, wasn't it? So they were designing a skateboarding game, and then they asked Tony Hawk to come and have a look because they'd previously done a game for Apocalypse, hadn't they?
Mm.
So yeah, it was Bruce Willis, wasn't it?
They should have had him as an unlockable character. That would have been amazing.
They kept him in it. Yeah,
that would have been a fun.
Guess they have to pay royalties. But yeah, so that's what they showed it. Yeah, so they showed that off to Tony Hawk, and he's really impressed by it, even though it's just like Bruce Willis on a skateboard.
Yeah, I just think it's just the perfect storm of the game being so great, the music, the scene, and just everything. Everything just came together. Because I myself, when I first started playing it, I even bought a skateboard. I mean, I wasn't very good. I used to just basically just ride around on it a bit. I didn't do any like grinds, or I didn't go to skate parks. My cousin though, he got really into it because we used to play it together, and he got into skating properly. Eventually, he did get injured, where his bones stuck out his arm,
and then his career,
then he stopped. Yeah, that were pretty nasty.
Yeah, no, I bet he stopped.
Was he wearing like protective gear?
I'm not sure, but yeah, there was a funny thing that we did. So I stood on the skateboard, and then he kicked it from underneath me, and I went arse over. Yeah, that's it.
I think that happens to everyone.
That's quite funny. It hurt though. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think the game is just so iconic for that era in gaming. And
it spent so long at the top 10 selling charts at the time. It was incredible. Like by the time 2 came out, I think the first one was still in the top 10. It was insane.
I was surprised
about how popular. And there's a story. I listened to a podcast that had an interview with Tony, and he was talking about how after the third game got released, it's like one of the executives from either Neversoft or Activision contacted him and said, "Oh, we're thinking of doing another one, so it's going to be the 4th one." I said, "Oh, do you mind meeting me in LA?" So he said, "Yeah, sure." So he went and met him at a restaurant in LA, and as he's just there having his lunch, it's suddenly the executive guy in his mind he's thinking, "Oh, if I can get something like $1 million for this," because obviously he knew by this point the popularity of the game. So he's like, "Oh, if I can get $1 million for this, that set me up for I won't have to worry about traveling to competitions. I'd be able to skate as much as I want, etc." And when he was at this restaurant, suddenly the executive guy just slid over a check to him for $4 million.
Oh wow!
And he was like, "Whoa!"
So it's just.
If our Tony had played hardball, can we make it 5?
Well, that just goes to show
Who's happy with just one?
That just goes to show how highly rated both he and the games were. That's an insane amount of money for that time.
I can imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, something else that I quite liked about the game is that I probably didn't notice that as much when I was younger, but the representation in it. Because I think skateboarding was initially thought as to be a young white man's sport. in the game, they had Alyssa Steamer, very famous female skater, and on this documentary the film I was watching, he was like interviewing like this young girl who was like inspired by seeing her in the game, and it's that sort of thing that's quite important. And then there's Kareem Campbell, a black skater, who I don't think was very much saw in terms of in the skating culture, but these were all things that were like this representation was all inspiring to people, as well as like non-skaters getting involved in skating. And they've sort of done the same thing in the new one. So in the remaster, they've introduced some new skaters, and they've got a transgender skater in it now, Leo Baker.
Okay.
So they've kept on
they've continued that,
yeah, they've continued the representation factor, and it's really great to see because it goes to show what skating as a culture actually is, that can be for everyone.
Yeah. And I suppose that changed a lot of people's minds about how inclusive it actually was, because as you said, I personally had those preconceptions that it was just for young white males, and they had a whole spectrum of people, different races, different genders, and I think that's fantastic. So.
I mean, I think one of my I think the skater is probably Rodney Mullen. I don't know if you know much about him, but Rodney Mullen is like known for being like one of the most innovative skateboarders ever, and he was like big on his flat ground tricks. So how Tony Hawk was like more like a vert skater. He was like ramps. But Rodney Mullen was very much like a street skater, and he invented the kickflip. I think these like basic things that we all think of now. He was like the founding father of them. And he told a story how he was skating in this like rough neighborhood. I think he was filming a video or something, and like these two big burly blokes came up to him. There's like tattoos all over the neck. And just thought, he was just thinking, am I just gonna get beat up now? And then suddenly one of them just went, Are you that guy from that game? Were you in that game? And there's suddenly like their entire like perspective changed, and they were like little kids, like so excited, saying, "Oh, I was playing as you." But it's just like it was so encouraging to see that sort of thing, to hear that sort of thing. I just wish I was good at skating.
Yeah,
because I did try it. I did try it initially, but that's great. I think a lot of people tried it and probably didn't carry on with it. But just to get you out and about, to get a lot of kids outside, to try it, is a really exciting thing. Very few things manage to do that. And it's quite weird to think that a computer game is what got people outside. But normally we think it's like bringing them indoors.
Mm-hmm. One good thing about I think 2 in particular was the secret areas on the levels. Really enjoyed that aspect of it. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I was playing it, when it was first out, there was loads of rumors about that. Oh, you could do this certain grind to open a secret area, and it was just absolute nonsense. But people would just make up these rumors around school and whatnot. And because there were some openings that, like there's 2 on the first level that you go to, which is absolutely iconic. Like with that grinding across the helicopter, and then the helicopter crashing through. To open that snow bit up, that's cool. And then there's another hangar section just to your right as well that you can unlock. I think that they were really fantastic.
I really like how they've updated like the remaster. I mean, obviously the graphically they've improved. Like I have to say, the remaster I think is one of the best remasters I think of any game I've ever played. They've done so well with it because I was excited about it. I mean, the difference between like my hype for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. And this is that I knew 1 and 2 were great games, whereas opposed to 5 was like a new thing, so you didn't really know what to expect. But graphically, it looks superb, and the greatness of it is that it plays just pretty much exactly as it used to.
Yeah, no, it does.
And it's got all like the classic challenges and all that, like classic goals, which I still struggle with. So like the 6 scores, I always struggle with the 6 scores.
I'll never get the 6 scores. I don't think I can even get a pro score.
Maybe not later on in them. But
what kind of a skater are you on the game? I just love grinding off of walls and getting combos going.
I like doing manuals. I like manuals. Like,
I'm terrible at manuals.
Well, you got to put up those stat points for your manuals, mate.
Well, I've got to get the stat points first.
Yeah.
Really.
But it's such. I really enjoyed playing it as well. This new one, because it's just totally sent me back to being a kid. I'm slightly disappointed with the multiplayer on the new one, but apparently, because at the moment, what it is, well, actually, I'm having trouble actually connecting online to it. I don't know why, because you're supposed to push the touchpad, and then that's supposed to bring up like a menu for like online stuff. But it just keeps telling me I'm signing in, and it just never actually does it. But my brother seems to be able to sign in, so maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Maybe they're staggering it if they're getting a lot of.
Maybe, but I've looked online, and I'm not the only person who's had this issue, so maybe it's a continual thing. But at the moment, there's only like group games, so you get put in with like 7 other skaters, and then it's like whoever can pull off the biggest combo in like 2 minutes. And then there's certain other games as well, like graffiti, where you've got to like tag objects that you skate off of and things like that. But you can't actually play like with one other person, so you can't play horse online.
Right.
Which is disappointing.
That's a little bit disappointing.
But apparently, I've read that's going to be patched in the fall, that you can play more with your party as opposed to with other people. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So I'm hoping that's when that comes out. That'll be thumbs up for me. So I've not really played the multiplayer, but the thing is, when you think about the Tournaments 1 and 2, it is actually quite. It's not a lengthy game if you're pretty good at the challenges, at the goals. You can get through it pretty quickly. But they've introduced a lot of challenges, which are like that's added some real amount of longevity to it. So it's like pull off a 40,000 combo that includes a grind and a lip trick, etc. And then you unlock like a board or a special trick slot or things like that. So that's going to add a lot to the game. And I can't wait to try and do all them. So I've created my character. He's got a flat cap, denim jacket, jeans.
Nice.
I need to do that. I've just been playing as Tony.
Well, why wouldn't you? But yeah, I just play through as my own skater.
I'll be interested to see if the cheats work, because I've not got the game myself yet, so I might give that a go.
Well, they've got what's called mods. So they are cheats, but you don't have to put a cheat in for them. They're just
right, okay. I think that would have been a nice touch to take you back a bit, putting the cheat codes in.
But yeah, you can't do these challenges with them on.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
It will disable it. But it's so good. It's so good.
How would you compare the remaster to the original HD touch-up that they did? I think it was a few years ago.
Yeah, the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remaster. The Tony Hawk's.
It was like the HD, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was on PS3, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
I did play that. I didn't really play much of it. There was something about it that I don't know. It just didn't feel right. It wasn't. I don't think it was bad. It wasn't Pro Skater 5 bad. It was just. I don't know. It just didn't feel quite right. Maybe it wasn't quite the upgrade I thought it was going to be. Speaking of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, just to compound my disappointment with it, is that the base game of it was 4.6 gig, right? And then there was a day one patch which was 7.7 gig. That was crazy when that happened. Just like,
did you get to play it without the patch? What was it like?
No, I didn't. I just waited for it to finish, and then it was still bad. So
it was also like a little disclaimer on the cover saying that there is downloadable content when you put the disc in, pretty much.
Well, it is an always online game, which is another bad disappointment about it. But anyway, enough about that. We're not talking about Pro Skater 5. It was crap. Don't play it ever. But buy this new one because it's great. And they've actually put the heart and soul into it, Vicarious Visions. So good on them.
They are really becoming like the remaster masters. Yeah.
Because
they've been doing an incredible job. Yeah, the Insane Trilogy. They might have helped on Spyro. I'm not sure. I think it was more Toys for Bob helped on Crash. I think that's where they got their, I suppose, reputation from doing the Spyro one, and now it's going to be doing the new Crash one. But yeah, Vicarious Visions are doing amazing jobs for just remaking old games or remastering.
So what was your favourite level from the first two games? If you can remember.
To be honest, mine was the first level. I never really never really completed the story mode. I mean, I like the shopping mall as well. I think that might be the second or third. I can't remember.
The remastered one for the shopping mall is really quite intriguing because they've sort of. Because I was looking at like a side by side of the game. It's incredible how accurate they've got it. Like everything's spaced out in the same layout from the old ones, so that you could do the same lines if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But they've I think the mall is one of the most recognizable ones in terms of that they've changed, because they've sort of like, you know how in the first game it was like just an abandoned mall, really. Whereas they've actually made it quite derelict, and really it looks like something that should be in The Last of Us. It looks really good.
Cool.
It's designed really well. So it's like it's got everything that was in the old one, but they've updated it to make it look
just abandoned.
Yeah, it's just done so well, and I think the lighting in the game has changed a lot of things as well. It's like the Venice Beach level, which is my favorite level, on the second one. It's got like graffiti on every single wall just about, and it's like got sunlight, but like dusk sunlight coming up. It just looks gorgeous. It's just so good, so good, so good. I can't wait to play more of it. Did any of you guys ever? Did you guys ever hear about the what became known as the Activision O2 brand? So actually, Tony Hawk's games actually sparked their own Activision to launch like an own separate extreme sports brand.
Okay.
So there was Matt Hoffman's. There was Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. Which I quite liked. And then there was Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboard, which I played. And then there was also Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, and there was a few of those as well. But I only played the first two. I never played Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, but they were quite good games. But they never had the impact that Tony Hawk's did. But they were. It was quite incredible to see what those games launched. That suddenly we saw this market for extreme sports games.
Yeah.
And I did like those other two games. I really did. But the things were like Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboard. Obviously, there was like Cool Borders and before, and SSX Tricky beforehand, weren't there? So I think that was trying to get into a bit of a difficult market. That.
Yeah,
that one would have, yeah.
But my Hoffman's was quite good. Not good. I think that had a sequel as well. But yeah, but then that fell by the wayside. But Tony Hawk's just kept getting bigger and bigger. Well, until the later ones. But
yeah, it's a bit of a shame how it all ended, but I think definitely in the early to mid 2000s it was
because when
peak.
Yeah, because I think from the first two Underground 2 maybe they were largely good. Then after that they just sort of fell by the wayside. But and then when 5 came out, it was just like that was like the final nail in the coffin. It just I just remember the absolute heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching disappointment of that. I'm just thinking, well, that's it. That's these games over with, isn't it? It's just, his license has expired. This is it. We're never going to get this out again. And then they've come back and done an amazing job, and I'm so thankful. I genuinely just the sense of nostalgia playing it now is insane. It's bringing back all those fun memories that I had as a kid. It just really is. Now, please go and remaster 3 and 4. That's what we want. Yeah, so. But yeah.
No, it's going to be Tony Hawk 6 now.
Oh,
yeah, that's it.
Part of me thinks that, but I don't know.
I mean, if they can do a good job.
Do they want to take that risk? I don't know. Because 3 and 4 were great. But they started going into the PS2, 3 and 4. So
they also came out for PS1 as well. But
yeah, they did. Yeah. But I'd look at some of the video footage of them on the PS2, and graphically they look very good actually. 3 and 4. I mean, when you compare them to the blocky 1 and 2. Yeah. Obviously, the good thing about the new one as well is that obviously the character models are all changed now, isn't it? And I like how they're using like the modern skaters. They've kept them as they are now.
Yeah.
Rather than like trying to recreate them as you. Well, the thing is, all these people are still skating anyway.
Yeah, so still going.
But yeah, I can't say enough about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but I probably should come to an end there. That's love it. I'm so excited to carry on playing it. I just want more of them now. I want 3 and 4, and even Underground. Because when Underground came along, that was sort of like Underground sort of changed the games, really, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean they built on all the like mini game and options.
One thing that I would have liked in this new one, which was introduced in Underground, was the ability to get off your board.
Yeah,
you could actually walk
that
around.
really changed it, didn't it? Yeah.
So then you could just go up and find a line. If you saw something that was interesting, you could go and whereas on the early ones, you've kind of got like maneuver your character somehow by rolling into exactly the position you want to do it, and then try and stop him before he just rolls off the cliff or something. But yeah, that was good. But yeah. Anyway, I've got no more to say on it. Well, I have, but I'll stop. We've been going off long enough. But yeah, what a great game. Well, what a great couple of games.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
So,
yeah. Gameplay, music, it was inclusive, and personally, I'm really looking forward to playing the remaster.
Yeah, I'd highly encourage you to get it. Well worth the money. If you were scared about whether it's going to be worth it or not, get it, folks. It's incredible. Best remaster ever. So, there we have it, I think. So, if you enjoyed listening to us, please consider tuning in next time. We release bi-weekly. You can visit our website at jokingdolphin.com, where you post blogs, the Hall of Fame, and you can also get involved via our forum to continue the conversation. Also, feel free to follow us on all social media platforms. You can find Joking Dolphin on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Joking Dolphin. Until next time, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Wakanda forever.